get a little bit annoyed with the Tundra problems. I just keep seeing them, and I was like, I was in the market for a Tundra.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted to buy a Tundra. People don't believe that. It's like 2022, man. I told my wife, like, I'm going to go buy a new Tundra.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing those engine failures in forums, and I was like, I'm going to wait it out.
Yeah. That is definitely the last way Toyota wanted to introduce a new generation of vehicles, with having it just fail like that. So, but no, I appreciate it. I try to be critical in videos, but people, I guess, have to watch the video to really tell, because I don't just put the rant videos out there unless it's something that really needs to be talked about, like the recall stuff, or the issues that I was having with my seals in my Tundra, or the rattly center console. So, I mean, I don't typically make rant videos. And then, of course, if someone's just seeing me reviewing a vehicle that doesn't really know the whole industry and stuff, like Tim in your guys' live stream, he kind of broke it down and stuff for you. But like, there's a lot more that goes into it, and it's just hilarious, all the comments I get all the time that I'm like paid off by Toyota and all this stuff. And if I was, like, I missed that check a long time ago, and it would be a very nice check to get in the mail if that was the case. But yeah, I mean, you have to be critical, especially on a newer platform like this. I mean, even the brand new 4Runner, I've pointed out that my fender flares, they're not sealed, or they're not pressed properly. There's like a little bow in them and stuff. I don't want people to get rid of their 5th gen 4Runner just because I said, hey, this one drives great, it has new tech, it's awesome. But I don't want people to think that it's the best thing since sliced bread. Like, I want to point out those failures or those issues. So, because I know Toyota watches these videos, all of ours, and be like, oh shoot, we got to work on that. Like, that's not good. And John has that issue. Oh crap, there's 10 comments saying that people's 4Runners are the exact same as his. Like, let's freaking go and fix that at the Tahara plant. You know, what's going on with this fitment issue stuff. So, I mean, I appreciate that. I was kind of the same online sometimes, especially when new people come in, and I love to give everyone a chance. I want everyone to be successful. It's great passive income for you, I'm sure, but like, it's not all about the money, but like, I want everyone to be successful on YouTube and, you know, talk about what they want to talk about. So
yeah, it's interesting because from my perspective, it's not like people are being paid by these manufacturers. They're not paid directly, but people are paid to go to the events, and they're paid, you know, maybe their airfare is paid, maybe their hotel's paid, but it's still go for a day, shoot some videos. It's probably, it's just not, that's not going to be the big revenue hit for you. You got to buy trucks like you're doing, and you're really, I loved your video on how much you showed all the payments you have. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Yeah. It's a little out of hand for sure, but it's cool because if there's an issue with the Land Cruiser, or if there's an issue with something, it's nice that YouTube is able to cover those payments. I get to work with companies. They send out product. I get to help them grow their company by showcasing it and stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Sometimes some videos will pop off for you, but when Toyota invites all these big creators to this event, you know, they're going to watch their stuff first. So I'm sure if you're a lot bigger and your views are always in the hundreds to 200,000 or like 1 million views, you know, I mean, those videos for those people are making a couple $1,000 each time. So of course for them it's worth it. But for, you know, for someone like me who's about to go like to the New York Auto Show, I have to really grind and do a lot of content to make it worth my time for going for a couple days versus here in my garage, you know, maybe doing a sponsorship bit or installing parts, because that for me is more rewarding with my audience and better fruit in the outcome in the end versus, you know, just walking around a car again.
I was going to start out, you know, asking you the hardest question of the night. I was going to say right out of the gate, would you ever consider changing your YouTube channel from TRD John to like GMC John or something and switching brands?
GM John. Yeah, I actually talk about that quite a bit. I really want to do that. I don't know if I would put it on my channel or just make a secondary channel that's kind of like all about trucks. But I mean, a goals truck for me is a Ford Raptor R. I mean, that is just the coolest truck ever. And then now Ram is coming back with the V8 again, most likely for like the TRX and stuff, or maybe even in some Ram models. And I love myself a GMC Duramax Denali, but I mean, that's like $100,000+ truck. But I mean, I grew up with Fords, Chevys, Toyotas, all that stuff. It's just Toyota just happened to be a YouTube video that I finally posted, and then it just, you know, was $1 a month, $10 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month. Then it got to the point where it was paying me more than Uncle Sam. I was like, why am I going to the military and doing this job for like 12 hours a day when I could just do YouTube and have fun with it and stuff? So it definitely solidified itself as a niche on YouTube. And that's, I mean, as you know, the Toyota cult is just insane. But I do love all cars. I love all cars. I love all trucks to a certain regard. And yeah, I mean, during COVID, when everything was like a fire sale, it seemed like, right? Before then, there was a shortage of cars, but manufacturers like, holy crap, the world's shutting down. I don't know what's going on. I almost bought a GMC AT4 Sierra at 84 months, 0% financing for $10,000 off. That's like the worst missed opportunity that I didn't take, because I could have sold that truck like a year and a half later for more than what I bought it for with however many miles on it. But yeah, no, I would be all about it. Especially too, that would help me showcase on the channel too. Like Ram has way better trucks than people even think. They're really nice interiors and stuff on those trucks. Ford has way more room on the inside than a Toyota product. The way that those big three just go about the actual truck aspect of it, like the Tundra has a lot to catch up on. And even Toyota says this truck isn't to compete with those big three. It's just to keep someone within the Toyota family to move them into a full-size truck. But I mean, there's just so much missed stuff on that truck that it's just like, it makes you scratch your head, where you're just like, how did Toyota like not even put storage in the bed? Or how did they not even give it recovery hooks? Or a freaking glove box that opens up in the top for all models for more storage? It's just, it makes you really scratch your head. So, especially when the prices are damn near the same too. Yeah.
It's funny you say that about these other brands too. I did this poll, and I didn't really think this poll would do anything. It was, I don't know if you can see it. It might be a little too small, but I polled everybody. I was like, what's the most reliable 2025 half ton? Because GM's having transmission problems, and you know, Toyota still has, I think they had 3 2025s die with the same engine problem. But it's been getting better with the Tundra. It's just, it's not gone yet, which is really unlike Toyota. And I couldn't believe that people put Ford in this poll as the top. I never thought I would see that, you know, and even with Ford's recalls, and, you know, there's a lot of folks that would probably disagree with that and say it's GM, but man, GM's been having all their V8 issues and their transmission valve body issues for 5 years, still happening. I still see people in the comments like 2025, you know, valve body's dead. I'm like, come on.
It's crazy. And that you have to tip your hat to Toyota about too, because I mean, they saw the problem, and hopefully it's just debris, right? And it's not what other people are thinking. It's a way that engine is in a truck platform. So hopefully it was just debris issues, and they have that figured out. But I mean, they're replacing everyone's engines, even trucks that are outside of warranty, because it's failing for that known issue. They're still replacing it. But I mean, even my 2014 Silverado that I had before I made the YouTube channel, when they went to that Ecotech with the active fuel management, when they got rid of like the Vortec name and went to Ecotech, I mean, that platform has been having, like you said, lifter issues since basically 2014. And they're still having it 11 years later, which is wild. It's crazy.
It even had them, I've owned a ton of GM products, you know, Suburbans, Yukons, Denali's, everything from like 2005 up. And I had my brother-in-law had a 2007 or 2008 Suburban LTZ with the 5.3, and it was that first revision of, you know, active fuel management. And it probably around 130,000 miles, lifters went bad, and they weren't people that checked their oil every month, you know. So it ended up eating enough oil where, I don't know, it was like down to 2 or 3 quarts of oil. Spun a main bearing, and
That's
you had to
ridiculous.
get a new engine, but that's been going on since then, since 2007, and before that, those 5.3s were pretty darn reliable. 6 liters were reliable.
Oh yeah, I mean those old LS based engines. I mean the 5.3, the 6.2. I mean those are still some of the most reliable V8s to exist. I mean aside from the Tundra 4.7 and 5.7, like they're so good of engines for those. But I mean that does kind of touch on what we kind of briefly went over was these new Toyotas for like the second, third hand owner. I think that they really have to make them reliable. I think that them putting new engines in those Tundras maybe gives that second or third owner a peace of mind too. Like, oh, this is a fresh engine. Maybe it won't break on me. That will be some crap if we see that in the forums of someone that got a replaced engine, like a legit one after the recall, not just like the long block or whatever they were doing before, right? But like a legit after recall engine.
Yeah, crate engine.
Yeah, if those go, then we'll really have to come back and do another live stream because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah. It's weird. I saw total 3 2025s that have failed, which I would assume those are basically like those crate engines they're sending out. Mm-hmm. And then you see these 2024s failing, but there seems to be this weird discrepancy. Like I don't see a ton of 2024s that are after maybe the May, June when they updated the bearing parts. Mm-hmm. There's a period where there seems to be, they're just a little bit, there's fewer in the Facebook groups and the forums, but there's quite a few early 2024s that had the problem. And then a couple of those 2025s that were in the NHTSA reports and other places. But it just makes you wonder. I keep going back to, man, I don't know if it's debris. And then did you see the Car Care Nuts tear down of that engine?
I haven't watched it yet. That video came out while I was just on vacation, so I'm still. And then I got sick coming back, and I'm trying to catch up with so much right now. But a lot of people said that it was a pretty good tear down video of it.
Yeah, it was weird because he had one side of the engine, like the spark plug holes, were cut off, the spark plug ports. So I'm looking at this engine like, how did you get it? And it normally if someone gets an engine to tear down, as an example, they've got everything there, but he was missing some of the parts, like the cams weren't there. So it was like a 3/4 tear down, which I thought was really weird.
Right.
But Toyota's been super careful about grabbing those engines and pulling them back in and studying them, figuring out like why they're failing, if it's bearing material or whatever. But
right.
God, I hope they get it figured out. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this from Toyota in even their other engines. My daughter has that old, 2.5 and a 2018 Camry, and it's been just rock solid.
Yeah.
Not burning a drop of oil. It's just, so it's definitely per model. It's not necessarily just the whole brand sucks because of this one engine.
But even, were there issues with that turbo in the Lexus car? Because it came from a GS, I think, right? LS or a GS, I think. That engine.
The 3.4, yeah.
Yeah, it did have
the one
some
in
issues.
The Tundra, yeah, they've had issues in the Lexus, and not as many. And I think it's a numbers game. You have Lexus selling like 5,000 or 10,000 a year, and so then you just don't see that many. If we only saw 10,000 Tundras sold in a year, we might not hear about it that often.
Right.
So it's a ratio thing where Toyota's selling so many Tundras and Tacomas right now that it's a good sign for the Tacoma. You haven't seen any failures in Tacomas